Was asking things about being stuck in the U.S., not getting sucked into the rat race. Yes,
Oh
everyone's.
my gosh.
That's a big one.
Didn't have
That's huge.
Yeah.
The
Go ahead.
intensity of, you don't realize the intensity of an environment you're in until you're not in the
Right.
environment, and then you come back into the environment. Awaken with Mark is a channel that is charting the journey of our family. It's what happens when an African American family relocates to the continent of Africa. And I'll tell you what happens. We start winning. That's what happens.
And on average, how much would someone need to move to Africa from the States? It depends on what your needs are for your quality of living. I don't know what your medical needs might be, dietary, occupational, what your skills might be. It would definitely help to definitely check out awakewithmark.com for our free starter guide, where it can help you begin to do like we did and assess what are things that we need that can then inform your budget, because there's no hard and fast answer.
Yes.
What we did may be different for you, so just assess your needs and start there. It's possible. You won't be overwhelmed if you stick with it and just do it according to what you need, not what anybody else needs.
You know, things change. It is based off of your needs, the individual. Also, real estate pricing changed. The pricing changed of when we lived in Kigali for like 8 months. It changed from the beginning to the, so you gotta check multiple things.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the number one thing you can do is get out of debt. And
Yes.
that's number one. Number two
Yes.
is work on your mindset. I'm not saying you have to have a minimalist mindset. We are not minimalist. So when Josiah was saying, we don't know what your needs are, we have friends who are, who've been in South Africa, been in Rwanda, been in Kenya, India, all over the place. One of them, their niece, she loves malls, okay? She understands Gucci, and so that's a requirement for her, and she can afford it. We don't know who you are. We don't know what your requirements are. I like motorcycles. Am I gonna get a Harley here? No, but I could get a Royal Enfield. But a Royal Enfield motorcycle, brand new, is only like $2,000. So so my used one was more than double that. So Harley, that is. So I'm just throwing things at you. But anyway, I guess there's something we are not saying, and I don't even know how to say it right now, but when Daniel was explaining to you that we put together some freebies on assessments on your readiness to move, people talk about family. You need to work through that. Are we saying we did not? No, we did work through that, and this is part of our solution, what we did to come and visit home. There are some people who have not been back to the United States, and we salute them for that. But it was just our way of handling it. Every situation is unique, the way you're going to approach it. But we do encourage you to take time to really try to reflect on things like self-assessments on where you might be and how you will handle those events when they're going to be coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
Rabbit was asking things about being stuck in the U.S., not getting sucked into the rat race. Yes, everyone's.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah.
a big one.
Didn't have
That's huge.
Yeah.
The intensity of, you don't realize the intensity of an environment you're in until you're not in the
Right.
environment, and then you come back into the environment. This is hopefully, besides being a fun live for us, something that somebody can look at later on when they choose to relocate to wherever they might choose to relocate, and realize that, oh my goodness, I actually was scheduling things back to back to back to back. I remember working at NASA and they would say, you know what, maybe we ought to have on the campus at Greenbelt, at Goddard, maybe there should be a rule that meetings should have a 15-minute gap between them because people would run or hop on a bicycle to get to the next meeting. And you just don't realize you're doing that. And I think that affects your health too. Because one of the things I want to do is have a long, fulfilled life. I don't want to just be surviving. I want to be thriving.
Yes, I feel the same way. I know everyone's quality of life is different. We're not here to attack anybody, or if you're managing well, more power to you. There's not much else to say, but there is overlap, from there are a lot of things that we missed, and we'll get into that. In the U.S., conveniences that we all grew up with, but we feel you, Dark Rabbit, with managing those things, being able to break from those things by choosing to live abroad, to get into entrepreneurship and online business and just change the trajectory of our life. To answer your question, Dark Rabbit, no, we did not rack up medical debt, or certainly not while we were in the States. It was just a little bit of colds and whatnot. I don't know that we've ever had medical debt, or we've never had any, thankfully, major medical issues or things of that nature. And then a question from Betsol is there actual clearance certificates for tax and police records? If so, while I'm here, I assume here in the States, I want to get them.
Yes, you do want to do that. Please go get those two things now. What he said, they said police clearance,
and tax.
And tax. I don't know how the tax clearance thing exactly works because and I know you saw our video. I gave to you exactly what we saw in the actual PDF document that was sent to us, okay? And then later on I saw, which is typical of apparently African countries, then later on I saw a slightly different list, and then probably by the time I get again to the website, it might be slightly different again. What I'm saying is that about that tax certificate. So I'll deal with that first. So I talked to our CPA, who I had referenced at times while I was back home, and one of the things he mentioned to me was, well, Mark, that's usually for businesses, and what's interesting is something will be requested from another country, but their definition of it is different than the US definition of it. An example would be, they asked me for a letter of retirement. Well, OPM doesn't give me a letter of retirement. It's like you have to apply, hopefully you're approved, and see ya kind of a thing. So basically, there's no congratulatory letter or something that I had actually received, but the fact that you have a card like a Social Security card that proves you're retired. So what I'm trying to say to you is that the nuances of a particular country you might visit or stay in may use different language than the country you're originating from, and so there's kind of a disconnect on what they really need, and they have to get that cleared up. So I hope that made sense. Another example might be, here you need a letter from the local chief, and that is not something that exists in the United States. It's not that complicated. It's not hard to get. In fact, you can meet the local chief. But we never heard of such a thing. I don't have a chief in the county, in LA County. There's no chief.
PG
in
County,
PG County, there's no chief. Anyway, you probably think the executive. No, they meant chief. If they'd have meant political person, you have to get that also, right? Then with regard to the police clearance, don't do as we did. So our experience is, it was in our hearts, it was in my heart while in Los Angeles to go by the police station, which I pass every day, to go get the police clearance, and did not do that. And so we didn't exactly need it for the country we originally arrived in, which is Rwanda, where we have a 10-year visa, right?
Yes.
And so But if I'd have gone ahead and done it, I'd just have it just because. It's not that complicated to get. You can just make a visit to your local police station there, and they will fingerprint you, and you can just mail that after you started an online application with the FBI, and just mail it up to, I think, Shepherdstown, West Virginia, where the FBI is located, to process that. And eventually you'll get your results. You'll get them in snail mail and also email if you choose both of those to come in. So you want to do that. These are some of the things you want to take care of before you should exit. But you can still get them done even when you're gone, because I think you'll be able to get a virtual notary and other things like that. You can still get it done some kind of way.
It depends on the state and their rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone is
laws.
different. Betzel said, I was able to print out a balance of 0 from the IRS. I haven't heard it put that way, but it
Thank you.
sounds like a good
Nice.
thing. Sounds like a good
That's
thing.
good.
So great. Dark Rabbit said, you might be able to find service to get documents online.
Yes, there are service companies that actually will do it for you. I forgot what the cost was, a couple hundred, or it depends on the company. If it's in Florida, and it doesn't matter. The company doesn't necessarily have to be in your state. They can get it done for you, but they're paying you or you're paying them for the service. So it might be 200, 300, whatever kind of dollars, but they'll do it all the way through. So that individual is exactly right, and yes, they are available. So you have multiple options, which is a good thing.
Yes, very good. Thank you for those questions. And
Nice.
especially because
Yes.
it helps those in the chat who are considering moving abroad and wanting to get all of your ducks in a row, or as many as you can. So
The amenities, or what you call indulgences.
inconveniences, yeah.
Yeah, so what we come to see, and you need to be aware of this. So from our point of view, we look at our move as fleeing Babylon. In English, that means we left the United States and we believe we were actually being obedient to the scripture to flee Babylon and the Western world. Are we still, well, we were immersed in that, and in fact, our people have been immersed in that for hundreds, thousands of years, so it's a little tough to give up Amazon Prime and things like that, as well as King Syrup. But you want to go into a relocation with your eyes fully open. Your eyes fully open meaning, all right, well, how am I going to deal with this? Because I've had some people tell me they definitely need malls, they definitely need a lot of paved roads. And so that's okay, but you need to be real with yourself, or as one friend, he says, don't lie to yourself. You want to also try to make sure you're running towards something, not so much running away from something. So in terms of those amenities, you may have seen a video where Marlene and I were talking, and I said, yeah, you can't get those Amazon Prime things here. And we were up in Rwanda at the time. We could get them, but not as easily, and it was a higher fee being in a landlocked country. Being in a country with a port, it's a little easier, a little less money, but it's still rather complicated. Don't be shocked. I mean, I understand also maybe in Puerto Rico when they had the hurricanes a while back, they didn't have addresses on some houses, which made it difficult to get help to them. So, but the problem is when you are in America and you have only that perspective, you just kind of project that everywhere, and that's not exactly the case. So you have to set yourself up for, or position yourself so that you can make it for the long haul, and you're going in with your eyes open and knowing what you're going to experience. So we were able to order some things from Amazon. Take, for example, here's a thing that we have listed in our items that you should have, and that is to weigh your luggage.
Yeah, you can hold, yeah, that's great, Dad. Hold that up for 'em.
Things need to serve us, not the other way around, serving things. excellent. What else did they say?
Americans fell prey to this, and it's sad and scary.
Yes.
And so that's the luggage weight. Yes, that is Darnell Dodge. You're making great points that I think everyone should consider. We're not telling anybody what to do. We're just really trying to think creatively, and we were just looking for more, and that was our goal. So, but that's so thank you. That's a really good device to have your luggage weight.
Yeah, so this device really helped save us in terms of checking the weight and making sure we are under that 50
The
pounds,
limits, yes.
which is like 23 kg, and that's your check bags, and then 7 kg
For carry-on.
for carry-on with the flights that we took. That's what our numbers were.
Yeah, we were blessed.
So-
We were under. We didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah. So, but we were over a little bit, but we we brought an extra luggage within one.
Oh yeah, take your
Leverage.
time.
Yeah,
Hold on, slow down. Yeah,
Okay.
because you just raised a huge point. So putting a suitcase in a suitcase so that you have an extra one to bring back is very helpful, so that you can get more bang for your buck and you don't have to buy another item, and you can easily find one that fits inside. I think I covered it. If I missed anything, just tell
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, no, that was it. And we had 2 carry-on size luggage, one, like, I don't know if you can see, one like this big, and
Rolling.
rolling. We had 2 of those, and we were a little overweight on some stuff, but we also brought backpacks. So
Yeah,
what you can do is, I think our limit was 2 carry-on or 2 check bags per person.
Right.
Yeah.
And each of us had brought one with that extra one
Right.
inside, but it only counts as one. And so what we did was we turned those carry-on ones, the one you just saw me pick up, we turned 2 of those into check bags. And so we put extra ones in there. We worked together as a team. We came together to distribute the weight, talk it, go through it. And we were able to bring our stuff and use our backpacks, and it was a blessing. Yeah, that device. Yeah,
Helped
we want to
us.
have that.
And you mentioned the weight on the carry-on.
The weight on the carry-on is for carry-on, it's 7 kg.
Right.
And so because we turned that one into a check bag, because we still had the extra slot, it can go up to as much as you can fit in there. Obviously, if you put some dumbbells or weights in there, you'll go
Yeah.
over. But
So it still had to be, because it was checked, it still had to be under 23K, right?
yes, and they were
Yes.
they were all under.
all under. Yeah.
So I'm going to be Captain Obvious here, and that is to say, of course, it depends on the airline that you're flying and the
Yes.
plane that you're on.
That's true.
When you're on a huge Airbus with like 3 or 2 rows in the middle, as well as on the sides, that's a big plane. But
And do you remember how much that was? Like under $20 or something, maybe.
oh, this is what he's pointing at,
The
and
weight. Yeah.
the thing you weigh luggage with, and it was I think around $12 or less.
What?
Less than that. Yeah, 12 or 13.
If I had made that, I would
What's
have
the-
charged more.
And I ordered this on Amazon while we were in Maryland the second time.
What's the brand on that? Dan?
This one is E-Tech City, ETEKCITY. The maximum is 50 kilograms, 110 pounds. So there you go, and you can
This-
just loop it around and hold it like this to see what the weight of your luggage is.
This is not a sponsorship. If the company is watching and interested, maybe we could talk. I don't know, but this is not a sponsorship. But we just like this product so much, and this is very critical because we did not have this when we moved to Africa in the beginning. You want to know what we did? We picked up the luggage and we stepped on a weigher, which is probably bad. It's not advised to try to weigh ourselves and then remove our own weight. Anyway, you can see it was all over the place. And then when we got to the airport, we still had to get rid of things. Poor Josiah, he had to get rid of some books. It might have only been, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. It might have only been you. But this is stuff he cares about. He wanted to bring these things, and it's like, man.
But I do want to say, to successfully relocate, oh yeah, somebody has.
Oh, I put it in.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
I put it in.
didn't see that part. But to successfully relocate, I think one of the critical elements is letting go. It's very hard for you to hand me something right now if I'm still closing my fist. I have to let go of something to be able to receive the new thing. Also, let's see here. So we were talking about the weights and the plane. No one asked us, and I'm kind of surprised, what was the ballpark? Everything we're doing here is ballpark. What was the ballpark price of the flight from, in this case, Zanzibar, straight from our island? We didn't fly out of Dar es Salaam. Straight from Zanzibar you have to go through Doha, Qatar, to Dulles. You could go to New York. You could go wherever like that, Chicago. But if you want to guess, please start guessing for one fare, where you're going to get 2 check bags, as Daniel said, and 1 carry-on. Just guess the fare, and I'm going to give you a ballpark. If you nudge me, I'll remember and do that. Of course, the price changes when you're coming around holidays and the high season, which is the tourist season. So all that considered, it's still helpful to know a ballpark price, okay? And I see numbers are starting to pop up. If you guys could keep track of them.
Yep, I got you.
Oh, I do want to mention this on the travel thing, and that is that 2 things. Some people that we know are friends who live here, who are also expats and so forth. Some have brought their nice furniture here. We bought furniture here. It's generally custom made. And but some of them have used shipping containers or shared half a shipping container.
Or barrels. They've got like
Yeah.
barrels sent with their items from back home to come with them here. Yeah, any kind of way.
So those are options that are available. And as the diaspora community grows larger, we start using each other as resources more and more. And in fact, there's a couple of WhatsApp groups that we belong to, and they're fairly large. But anyway, that's just, on the flights. So the sad part about colonization here on the continent is that if you're taking a flight, I think it's Delta goes through Atlanta in the United States. The difference is those are states, not countries. But if you're going to take a flight and you're going from Arizona to Massachusetts, you may have to fly through Atlanta. Well, here you're going through countries, and due to colonization, meaning those with power and privilege, the people with the money and who make the rules and so forth, they're going to have a flight that goes from here to Amsterdam and then from there to the United States, or from here to Doha, Qatar, and then to the United States. I'm not going to give you another example, but you get the picture.
Yeah, we saw options that were like 3 layovers. So it's just like you could go to Amsterdam to even another country. So
we chose a flight with 1 layover, and also they've announced that we will be able to go from Zanzibar direct flights to the United States. We'll see when sometimes things move slowly. Yeah. So anyway, people were guessing at the luggage weights. What kind of numbers you getting there?
So we got just a couple from Dark Rabbit. First guess was 678, and then maybe Doha 559. So thanks for playing. What you want? Give them the answer, Pop.
Yes, the answer is higher, folks. The answer is, let's put it in the $950 range. To $1,100-1,200, something like that. Now, I did take flight insurance. I did that because of a flight of that magnitude, and with all the concerns in the world with things that are planned that mysteriously happen and everyone gets ill, or when you have looming shutdowns, things like that, and you're spending that much money for a family. The idea is to ensure your prospects is what you want to do. So that included the insurance price also.
Oh,
Okay.
Dark Rabbit said, no, those were flight prices. Sorry. I think
That's what we asked.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what
Yeah.
we asked for.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we asked.
I-
Yeah, good guess.
Yeah, I did want to say the prices that he gave almost sounds more of, I hope I say the company right. Is it Emeritus? Is that the name of the?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
we
familiar.
said it right. You've seen
Yeah, I
it.
think that's the
United
one.
Arab Emirates.
Eric, that's
Yeah.
it, that one. Now that's probably closer to the 500 or 600 because I had a
Oh.
friend that recently that's what they used when they went back to the States, and she said I think it was like around 500 or 600 because when I told her we took Qatar, she goes, "Oh, that was a little steep, you know." But yeah,
Sure.
so that
No,
might
no
be
problem.
those prices or Ethiopian airs around, you know. So yeah.
So just to summarize, she gave airlines: Ethiopian, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and of course there are others too, but something to consider there.
And then Betsall asked, were you able to take camera and drones as carry-on luggage? Sure.
Oh, I have looked up the drones thing.
Oh, go on.
Go, what you seen?
So it depends on the country that you're flying into. If you're leaving the United States coming to Tanzania, they have some interesting laws regarding drones, and you would need to have, I think, some type of certificate.
Yes.
And the reason why I had looked that up is because I like flying radio. Well, I was learning to fly radio controlled airplanes, and so the deal is you really want to make sure you get that taken care of first. So that is an excellent question, and yes, you must have some kind of certification if they should see your drone, and maybe they won't.
Yeah. And you asked about cameras. Now we bring cameras when we first came from the States to
Yeah.
Rwanda.
You have a Canon camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, because I was thinking of this.
Yeah.
So yes, let me see. Yeah, so I was able to bring like my digital camera, my Canon. Like that's all we had. We
Yeah.
usually right now we like to shoot on like our iPhones because it's convenient. But yes, I was able to bring my DSLR, my Canon camera, and I still have it.
If you would like more information on how our family succeeded, download our free 3 Pillars poster, which will help you determine your identity, mindset, and processes, which are needed for success in any endeavor. If you're thinking about moving in the next 1 to 2 years, get the free starter guide. Lastly, we offer a move workbook walking you through the move process. Each of these are available on our awakenwithmark.com website.
No, okay, Darnell Dodge. I do know y'all are right. They have problems keeping the airstrips open in the Philippines, and most of the time you would have to fly into Singapore instead. Those travel hangups could drive you crazy. I'm terrified to fly, but I've always wanted to visit Zanzibar. Well, we hope that you get to visit
Yes.
one day, Darnell
Yes.
Dodge. Dark Rabbit, you guys are living the dream. Thank you very, very much, and we're happy to share it for any inspiration for others. Darnell Dodge, such a beautiful country. I believe talking about Zanzibar. Those beaches tempt me. Yeah, so hopefully you get to make it out. What you got, Dad?
So I guess in a little bit we're going to transition and shift, and we're going to shift to some of the wondrous things that we saw the Most High do while we were there. We won't say names and so forth, but we're just excited about that, which made this whole trip a divine appointment of sorts. But before we get there, I want to dovetail off of some of the comments. One of them was that you all are living the dream, and I would say thank you for that. We're thankful to the Most High. That is the goal. I have heard from him myself that I need to learn how to loosen up. I need to learn how to live. I've tended to be very conservative, and I've now seen that the world is a small place. I've run into people from father and son trips in other countries. I've run into people that knew people I knew. It was amazing. In other countries, yes. And so, but on that dream thing, the thing I'm hoping that you folks will take away, I hope you take away a lot of things, But one of them is that it's possible for you also. I am an idealist. I also know the scriptures, and we're subject to like passions. And so, meaning I like my Amazon Prime. I like to play tennis. It's very challenging to find a tennis court and some good nets. I bought a net. We're subject to like passions, but we're able to walk in the things that He put on our heart. And I believe strongly that you are also. I believe it when He says that He did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to operate in that. I believe His goal for us is ruling. It is not that He is. I used to watch I Dream of Jeannie as a kid and Bewitched. No, that is not who the Most High is. We've got to learn how things operate, and there are principles that He has. And I believe that He's really showing our families certain principles, but they're not to be selfish. They're for us to share with others so that others can live that abundant life also. Someone had mentioned in the comments, I saw that they are afraid to fly, of which I respect you for being open and sharing that. I'm reminded of something Tyler Perry said. I'm not trying to exalt or worship Tyler Perry. It's just that I noticed he flew radio-controlled aircraft. And the ones he fly are bigger than, they would not fit in this living room, some of them. But he said why he got started into it, because he was afraid to fly. And through that, he began to learn about flight. But as he learned about how the airplane flies, you learn how the thing works. You have better understanding. You can stand under it and support it, and it may help a little bit to alleviate fears, because He has not given us that fear, but love, power, and a sound mind. The other thing is in terms of people hitting their aspirations. Like one of my aspirations was to live in Los Angeles. I had tried in 1980. And it fell through, and I worked when I went to college, me and my friend, hey Brian, if you're looking at this. And so we came back home. But lo and behold, decades later, that came to pass. And there I was, thanks to some executives who I had, Sheila, hi Sheila, and Tawanda, and so forth. And I found myself in Los Angeles, riding my motorcycle, up and down. Oh man, I can't even think of the name of that road. Pacific Coast Highway, and over there through the tunnel. Man, that was just fabulous. So, Sepulveda, that's it. That's the name of the road. Yes, beautiful. But I want you to know that he gives you the desires of your heart. That actually is not the object. He gives you the hankering for the things you hanker for. Because I think He has some bigger things that He wants us to accomplish that are going to require more faith. And He's really just using these little things to help us to exercise our faith muscle. Whereas Daniel just showed to take us from glory to glory, level to level, phase 1 to phase 2 to help us grow. We try to tell you these stories so that you can say, oh, you can do that thing. So because we wanted to see our mothers, because we wanted to see our sisters and brothers and grandchildren and nephews and nieces and all that, this is what He did not tell us when we would spend time together, praying together for more than 5 minutes. We didn't know that we were going to meet a friend of our son's who's a dear. Oh my goodness, she's a dear. Wow. Who is going to be filled with His Spirit on the anniversary of when I was many years ago. But here in the same house, in the same exact place.
Same house.
I didn't know I was going to encounter a really close friend of mine and his wife. Well, I know I was going to encounter them, but what I mean is I did not know they understand, because I asked directly. Do you know really who we are? People need to know their identity. They need to know we are the people of the book. Want to be Captain Obvious, Maximus Clarity on that thing. Because when you know who you are, you don't see eagles struggling, walking around with turkeys. You understand what I mean? You don't see fish wondering if they should be in the water. You don't. They just naturally do that. And when we know who we are, we begin to take on the characteristics of who we are. That's what it means to be the head and not the tail. That's what it means to have the blessings. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. These things are very important, and they help move you forward because you're really supposed to help others move forward also. Some of the other things that took place, let's see here. It wasn't, the Most High surprised me. It wasn't one, it wasn't two, or even three. It was more that I found out through direct questioning had awakened to the truth that we are the chosen people, that we are the people of the book. Okay? And so I was just simply amazed. I remember when I was working in the federal government, and when I first learned that, I was stood out in the hall by the elevator, and I don't know, somebody, whoever walked by said, "Did you know this?" And they were like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Oh my gosh." I just found out.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what you can do when you really know who you are. That's the root of everything. Identity. Some things about having left America, the United States, kind of challenging things to bring up. But I'm kind of wondering if our people really will apprehend their true identity, because they seem to be surviving by treading water in their Lexuses, you know? I remember looking at the bumper stickers on the back of the Beamers and for the different Greek organizations, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right. But at the same time, it's key to know who the Most High says that you actually are. And I'm talking blood, DNA here, okay? But we operate by faith. I'm kind of thinking about some things. I noticed that we as Americans, we are unaware of world news. And it seems like we just have the perspective of West. And it's hard for us to see things other than in the West. So let me say it the way we would have said it if I was still at work and doing team building or talking to an executive about their organization. Because what will happen is you have people in an organization, they can't figure out why they're not performing at the highest level. And the problem is them. Let me tell you something I learned at NASA. The problem is not technical. And yes, I'm a former IBM person also, a systems engineer as a matter of fact. The problem is not technical, the problem is communication. And so anyway, what the deal is, there's this thing that we say that is, you can't read the outside label of the jar when you're stuck on the inside. Let me adjust it to say, it's difficult to read the outside warning label of the jar when you're on the inside, still stuck in the jar. What I'm saying is, when you get free, if only for a few minutes, just to stroll outside the boundaries of the US for an extended period of time, your eyes begin to open up and you start seeing more things than you've ever thought, or it all clicks and they start coming together. But it's kind of difficult otherwise. It's sort of like turning the temperature up on you, and you just don't realize, wow, we have grown numb and callous to the things that are going on inside the borders of this country. So yeah, we did not experience any testing positive for that thing at any time necessarily of note while we were in Africa. In fact, it had the lowest rates if you ever really check Google and look, but the Western nations had the higher rate. And then we get there and bam, this thing hits us. Or to kind of be looking over my shoulder in my hometown or in the DMV or on the metro, I'm like, wow, my antenna is back up again. Wow, I gotta stay on my P's and Q's, because I know what it means when somebody drops change in my hand from like 2 feet up in the air. I know what you're trying to tell me. I wasn't born again yesterday. So anyway, I think what hit me in returning to the United States was realizing that our people are deceived because America simply has a great publicist. That's what the deal is. And the publicist puts out but they really want you to know what really makes them look good. Some may call it the media, whatever it is. It's just a good publicist. You've read probably and been drenched with negative stuff about maybe the continent of Africa. Did you ever think about who's telling you that? Because when we go to the beaches here, we see Europeans who are pink skinned, we see, and they're buying up things or walking around fine, and yet we're afraid to even go beyond the Potomac River. I mean, what's up with that? Make it make sense, you know? So these are just things to think about.
I did see something on IG today. This lady said something worth looking into about how there may be there are 35 African countries listed safer than the United States of America on I think it's something like the Global Peace Index, I think is what it's called. And so look into that for yourself for sure. I just stumbled upon it. I didn't follow her or anything, but being here a couple years, so far I can attest to that. There are drawbacks to everything, but I'm still healthy. We're still good. And a lot of people don't know that a lot of Europeans are living their best life, building restaurants, buying up property, investing in hotels, doing all manner of things. So if they can do it, why can't black folk? Why can't anyone else?
One thing I've observed is we love to talk about France and Greece and all of these, countries, Amsterdam, all these European countries to go and visit. We might go further to like some Asian areas and stuff. But that's kind of where we look. And then we come here, and as my father has said, we see a lot of people from those places I just listed coming here. Almost like we go there and they come here, even though we from here, but we don't go here, and we think it's something completely different. And that just kind of messes with my mind a little bit. So but then they know about this place. So, and there are still people asking us, what? You lived it? Why? What? Oh my gosh. And yet the people, they are buying up this place. So,
and comfortable. So
yeah.
It's a kind of beacon, I think, if once you become aware of it, because I think there are plenty of people, better yet, black folk all over the world, and especially in the States, who aren't aware. I wasn't aware. I was very surprised to see a lot of white folk over here doing well or making endeavors. And again, I think, if you pay attention and become aware, it becomes something of a beacon, like, well, wait a minute, if they're doing certain things, there may be more to investigate here to build a certain quality of life. There may be a lot more to gain here than they previously led us to believe. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for them to be here, at least in my mind. So it must not be that bad. There's something to look into. So
yeah, every place has its challenges. It is not 100% perfect here, but it's not 100% perfect in any place. So it's about your whys and what matters and what's been put on your heart by the Most High. Yeah.
Right. Some comments and questions. Regmon Music, grace and peace to you. Quattro, Africa is not for the weak because it can break your spirit. Just go there with an open mind and low expectations. Prepare to be surprised and shocked by what you will see. That is very much what we
take your time. Yes, thank you for that comment. That is very serious what Josiah just read from that commenter. They were saying Africa can break your spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me get into the weeds. Let's see here. They negotiate about things. It's a cash-based society. I don't negotiate very well at all. You just tell me a number, I'll just pay it. That won't last long here. I've got to change, but guess where growth happens? Where discomfort is. So I'm uncomfortable with that, and therefore I have potential to grow. Also, maybe what you felt is natural in Western culture, I thought, I'll just use me, I thought it was right. No, it just was, and the way things are done here are not wrong, they're just different.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Darnell Dodge agrees with us. Yes, the world's a very small place. Keki F, I look forward to moving abroad as well, one fine day, God willing. Keki F, I agree. I know who I am.
Oh, all right, all right.
Phil F, knowing who you are allows you to take charge of your life and live it accordingly.
Ooh, yes,
Powerful.
that was heavy. Yes.
Dion P, continue to shine, fam. You always share great content that may benefit others for whenever they decide to make that move. Darnell Dodge, thanks for the encouragement. So many places I've never been and always wanted to go. I have beautiful friends from all over the world.
That's
Wow,
wonderful.
that's good.
Wow.
Phil F, may the Most High continue to bless your family. Betzal El Yisrael, hallelujah. Once I woke up to who we are, then understood the reason for conditions. I then saw the commandments as a way of life. Darnell Dodge, labels can amount to nothing more than liable sometimes. Keki F, I know I am part of the people in the book, the Holy Bible. Amen. Darnell Dodge, it doesn't make sense, mostly just fake news. I believe that was related to the things we were saying about
Right.
Africa and how it's dangerous, or how everything else is better than it. That can be relative, and there's just more than meets the eye, and sometimes there aren't hard, fixed, comfortable answers.
Yes.
Yeah, real quick, I want to point out people from that region, that European region, that Great Britain have taken over a lot of the world. And so I find it interesting that they're buying up here. And they were very successful. So, yeah, just something to think about.
Keki F, that's why I'm planning on moving abroad as well. I'm happy for you and your family, Mark, truly. Darnell Dodge, I hope development doesn't despair the people like in Hawaii. Such natural beauty doesn't need to be taken for granted. There's a lot of lush natural beauty here in East Africa for sure. There's still plenty we want to see in Rwanda. We've been to Uganda, and especially on the mainland, Tanzania. Darnell Dodge, many thanks, all useful information. C. Daniels, that same publicist, painted the whole Africa mud huts. Babies with distended bellies swarmed by flies, that's right. Those things do exist here on the continent of Africa. We know it's not a country. People seem to understand Europe isn't a country, but when you say Europe, they seem to welcome that and just kind of fill in the blanks. It can be the same here in Africa. There's poverty everywhere. There's some of those things in different areas here on the continent. See, Daniels, yep, you're right, fam. And but then that's the thing, they show you those things as if to say that's the only identity of the continent. They don't show you South Africa, the good things happening in South Africa. They don't show you the good things happening in Tanzania. They don't show you the wealth being found, the rich culture, the food. They don't show you weddings, graduations.
Yeah, we could shoot the same kind of videos in Los Angeles and focus on
10 cities.
10 cities and those who are sadly less unfortunate, people that you may have to step over or go around, sadly, due to what things that have happened in their life. It's all over that place, and yet it is, Hollywood City. So it's, there's always more than meets the eye.
Share with us about your awakening as Israel in a future show.
That's the one I saw.
Yes. We're just grateful for the awakening, and just for the future research, or for the research that's coming out, and for the harmony that will come from it. I do believe that. Darnell Dodge, they act like poisonous, or like poison and dangerous animals are everywhere too. No, they're not everywhere. There are not lions walking down the street here in Zanzibar. This is an island. I don't think there's enough food source for lions specifically, hyenas, and all of that. You have to go. Yes, you have to go to the mainland. You have to go to the mainland to see, the migration routes and things like that. So there's plenty of people living just fine in their own rural and metropolitan areas all over the continent. It looks like we have Darnell Dodge. It's great to see NASA guys are able to separate from the system too. Yeah.
That's it, yes.
And Betzel El Yisrael, the Global Peace Index shows that out of the 54 African countries, all but 8 are less dangerous than the U.S. I did it on my channel.
Wow.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you
We
for
can check out her
honoring me.
channel.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Go check that out. These things, thank you for sharing these things in the comments, guys. It educates everybody and gives people a launching pad.
So blessings to peace and blessings
Thank
to
you.
everyone.
Yes.
Also, thank you all. We didn't do a live, or if we did, it was so short. You, the 10,000 subscribers,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
grateful to the
Yes,
Most
thank
High.
you.
We're
Yes.
grateful to you. And good night.
All right. Peace out, y'all.
One night, can we last till the sun?